Games Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Brew Games Podcast. I'm Adam Eliason.
And I'm Joe Evans.
And we're on episode 11, Bittersweet Symphony. Let's get right into it. We already know why we're here. Let's start with the beer I got for you, which is the Ranke XX Bitter. Now, it's a good thing this is wrapped and hopefully it's a cork or something, because I got a lot to say about it. So take your time opening that. Looking at their history, their website looks like it's from 1995. It's not quite GeoCities bad, but it's pretty outdated. They still use Hotmail, so it's...
That sounds great on the audio.
Yeah. They still use Hotmail, but to their benefit, they get a lot of information about their brewery, their history, and their process. So that's why I have a lot to say. I had to trim a lot of it down, and it's still a lot. But the brewery was founded in 1994 by Nino Basel under his own name, and he only had one beer at first, the Guldenberg, named after Guldenberg Abbey, where beer was brewed in the past. So the good thing about that original formula was it's possible to brew for it to be profitable in small amounts. And the Deca Brewery was chosen to do this, and they did 900 liters in the first brew, which still seems kind of large. But either way, in the mid-90s, he met Guido Devos through the Beer Tasters Association, HOP, or HOP, and they kind of joined forces and formed De Ranke. I'm going to skip a lot of that because that's a lot of head, actually.
It is a lot of head. It's going to take a little while for this to pour, I think.
Oh, even better.
It's unpasteurized and unfiltered, so...
That's right.
You can see on the top here it's got some residue, I guess, from sitting around for a while, so... It's very active right now.
That is part of what I was going to say. Forget where I was. They say they export to the US, India, Japan, Europe, Netherlands, Great Britain, Sweden, Denmark, Italy, Australia, France, but they don't mention Canada.
So it got smuggled into Canada by somebody?
Well, see, I thought you couldn't have unpasteurized beer in Canada.
You can, I believe so.
After looking into it, I guess, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Someone told me at one point that we didn't have Coors Original, Coors Banquet,
yeah,
is what we call it, because it was...
So I think it's a recent change in the import laws, I guess, for Canada, because, yeah, Banquet we didn't have for a long time until a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Then we finally started getting it. So I guess that's when the laws changed. Maybe that's when this started coming across.
Maybe. Their website clearly hasn't been updated. But... Anyway, at the beginning of the 80s, they had said under their website, why start this brewery? They said, well, in the beginning of the 80s, they're concerned about the disappearance of a lot of small and medium-sized breweries. So they... I can't read my own writing here. So they decided to start one, basically. And they don't want to compromise in any way. So they'd rather have a more expensive beer and rather than compromise. An example of that would be that they use hop flowers rather than hop extract.
Okay.
And so the hop flowers, I guess, don't last as long. They're more expensive, harder to keep, harder to get. But a lot of the major breweries have switched to hop extract that'll obviously keep
because they're all about their bottom line as well, right?
That's right. And they got two values. Looks like you still got a lot of heads, so I'll still talk for a little more. Two values. One, the use of natural raw materials without artificial means.
Right.
And two, working with traditional methods without being blind for new technology. Clearly that doesn't apply to their websites, but... using these new technologies to improve the quality, but not make it cheaper.
Okay.
So they don't filter their beers, saying some of the flavor is lost. And they don't pasteurize their beers for the same reason. And after they bottle it, they add a little more sugar and yeast, and then keep it warm for 2 more weeks to restart the fermentation process in the bottle.
We should explain why it's so active when you open the bottle.
For sure.
It's trying to escape after however long.
Yeah. Hopefully not too long if it's not pasteurized.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I got some details on how much it cost. It's 6.2%. I didn't write down the bottle size. Looks like 750.
Well, it's 1 pint. Doesn't really say in milliliter or anything.
20 ounces, but
yeah,
500 mils. Oh.
75 centiliters, so it'd be 750 milliliter.
It's way more than a pint.
1 pint, 9.4 fluid ounce. Sorry, didn't read the whole thing.
Pint and a half.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly cheap, actually, for it being such a big bottle and the rating and everything. It's $7.80 at Willow Park.
Okay.
It got a 91 on Beer Advocate, although the Bros gave it 100.
Okay.
So it better be good. And Rate Beer gave it 97.
So the Bros, that would be like the community, or is that like a certain subsection of like professional?
I believe it's a certain subsection, like either the website owners or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So enough of me talking. What do you think? Are you still sucking through the foam?
The foam's still coming through the bottle. I did taste a little bit of it. Reminds me of the last beer, actually, the Sophie.
Yeah.
But this one being without wheat, which is a good thing for me. This one, obviously, as you can see, it's unfiltered for sure.
Quite cloudy.
Yeah, very cloudy.
Similar color.
Yeah.
Joe loved the color of the last beer.
I can't see myself drinking this one very often.
Okay.
When I read that it was a bitter, I had a different mindset going into it, I guess. Maybe their definition of bitter is a little bit different from what I'm thinking of. Like when I drink ESBs or something, an extra special bitter.
Yeah.
Maybe the extra special bitters are not quite what this would be. So I can see the similarities, but this one is definitely a lot more floral. Which is probably because of the way they're using the hops, going with the full flower instead of the extract. So, which is actually quite a different experience with the hoppiness. It's just more airy, more like you're in a meadow or a field or something, rather than like having a bowl full of hops, I guess.
Nice.
That makes a difference. Like with the extract, I guess, it's a little bit more concentrated.
Right, yeah.
Or this is more of just like whatever's leaching from the flowers being in the pot kind of thing. So, yeah, it's definitely good. I don't know who I'd really recommend it to.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really have like a certain direction for majority of, I guess, types of beer drinkers. So if you're an adventurous person that wants to try different beers, like definitely give this one a try, especially the price point. I mean, you're getting 1.5 pints for $8.
Yeah, $8.
So I mean, can't go wrong with that. Definitely one to probably share with people.
Okay. And if Joe calls it different, then it must be different.
Yeah.
Because Joe's had a lot of beer. I haven't tried it yet, but
yeah. But yeah, it's pretty good. And throughout the episode, I'll probably chime in a little bit more once we get a proper glass poured.
All right.
But yeah, the beer I got for you was from Fort Garry. It's the Kona Imperial Stout. And so this one has a Beer Advocate score of 87 and a Rate Beer score of 88.
Nice.
So both sites are pretty much in agreement on how good it is.
Yeah.
It's alcohol content of 6.5%.
Ooh, it's dark.
50 IBUs. And it's brewed with over 50 pounds of Kona coffee, 2 types of hops, and 6 or 10 different malts. Looking this up, I had conflicting results.
Okay.
And I'll explain why in a minute as I go through the history of the brewery, which will kind of explain some things.
All right.
So Fort Garry was started in 1930 by B.W. Hoshin, with two brands, the Frontier Beer and the Frontier Stout. And in 1960, the brewery was sold to Molson, and in June of 1961, it was renamed the Molson's Fort Garry Brewing Company. In 1990, Molson merged with Carling O'Keefe and closed the Fort Garry Brewing facility. In 1999, we saw Hoshin's great-great-grandson Richard Hoshin resurrect the brewery under the original Fort Garry name. And in 2006, the president of Russell Brewing in BC sampled Fort Garry, fell in love with it, and a year later decided to amalgamate with Fort Garry. So Russell Brewing from BC and Fort Garry from Manitoba, they actually joined together, and now Fort Garry is a subsidiary of Russell Brewing.
Okay.
So before the show,
I see where you're going with
I
this.
explained that we had a pre-show drink from Russell Brewing, and I was like, that's funny because it actually ties into this episode. And so in 2011, they started the Brewmaster series of limited run beers, which is what created the Kona a year later.
Nice.
So that's the history. And now the reason why I mentioned that there's a conflict of is it 6 malts or is it 10 malts is because on the Fort Garry website for the Kona it says there's 10 malts, but doesn't explain which malts they are.
Okay.
There's a press release from Russell Brewing from 2012, and they say there's 6 malts, which they actually list. So the malts that are in this beer are the roasted barley, black patent malt, chocolate malt, dark crystal malt, flaked barley, and two-roll barley. And the hops are the North American Nugget and the English Fuggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So just quickly reading the can, which I'm assuming is newer than 2012. It does say 10 different malts.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if maybe the recipe changed a little bit since 2012. Again, it's a seasonal beer, so every year they might be trying to play with it a little bit, change things around.
That actually kind of disappoints me. I understand why he fell in love with it, because this beer is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's it obviously tastes a lot like coffee when it's been brewed with 50 pounds of coffee, no matter.
Yeah. So I know you're a big coffee fan, especially a beer with coffee in it.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And most coffee porters, coffee stouts, coffee whatever beer you have, you taste beer with a bit of coffee. Or beer
it's
with
usually
a
not
lot
a
of
very
coffee.
good coffee, right? It's just like
Yeah.
a Folgers in the morning kind of coffee.
Hey, there's nothing
flavor,
wrong
right?
with Folgers. Okay.
I'm just saying, it doesn't compare to Kona, right? I mean, Kona coffee is world renowned.
I don't think I've had Kona coffee, to be
No?
honest. I love coffee. I love cheap coffee.
Yeah.
But this is fantastic. This doesn't taste like a beer with coffee flavors. This tastes like a coffee.
With beer flavor?
Almost not even.
No? Just coffee?
Like when I drink this, I'm like transported to work where I drink coffee, basically. It's
Awesome. So it's very dangerous for you then, being at 6.5%.
yeah, you don't taste the alcohol at all.
Yeah.
Like, at all. I don't know if you've had it or
I haven't had it yet, but
It's,
we have another can, so we can also sample it later.
it is fantastic.
Yeah?
Highly recommend it. Like 10 out of 10 for sure. If
There
you're
you
a
go.
coffee fan.
If you love coffee and you want to have something, even if you don't like beer, give this one a try. It just might get you into beer.
I think so. I'm sorry I'm not as descriptive as Joe with the
That's okay,
through,
but
jumping through the fields and airy notes of. But
Hey.
it is very good.
you sold me on it, so
Nice.
yeah. So that'll do it for the beer.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll move on to the games that we challenge each other to.
Sure.
So let's start with your experience. I challenged you to Fez.
Yes. No, I didn't have a lot of time to play with this because of various things. Don't bother changing it because I
No?
didn't write anything down.
Okay.
Doing it live. It's a puzzle game where you're in a 2D world where everyone is 2D and everyone knows that they're in a 2D world. But,
Okay, so they're self-aware.
Yeah. And for some reason or another, which is not quite explained, this cube appears. Not a square, but a cube.
Okay.
And grants you this fez, which lets you now see the world in 3D. So you now have to the square then explodes, and you now have to run around the world collecting
The shards of
the shards
cube?
of the square. The
Okay.
cube, sorry. And so you can see parts of the world that the other characters can't see, and you're basically just exploring this world, collecting shards. There's not a whole lot of puzzle element to it, in that like the whole puzzle thing is you have to rotate the world. Sorry,
Right.
you can rotate in the 4 directions. So if you're looking at the front, you can rotate the world so you're now looking at the side, and you can now go behind where you were.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
But it's not geometrically accurate,
Okay.
which you'll see in the video, where this is going to be really hard to explain to you. I don't know if you've played this.
No, so like, I'm assuming that where you'd see like a bit of a platform going to the edge, as soon as you turn it, all of a sudden, the edge isn't connected at all. It's like completely different, or is it a little bit different than that?
I'm not quite sure what you mean, but I'll try to explain
Okay.
what I mean. I really
Sure.
should have practiced this. It's if you're here, your character's here, and the edge of something is here, you can't jump. Hopefully the video is playing and not showing me doing this. So you can't reach this ledge, right?
Okay.
You jump and you miss. If
Okay.
you rotate the world, you're now right beside this ledge, and you just hop right on it as if it's nothing.
Oh, so it erases that gap.
Yeah.
Okay.
It flattens it and extends
Right.
the other. Like, it's very weird,
Okay.
but very forgiving. If you die, there's like a very short death animation, but there's no cutscenes. There's no lives.
Okay.
You just spawn to where you were last safe
Okay.
within 2 seconds,
Okay.
and the whole game goes like this. You can die as many times as you want, as often as you want, and just keep going.
Okay.
And there's no really timed portion of it either, so it's like a very easy game to get into, I guess. It's tough to wrap your head around it, especially when it's not so geometrically accurate,
Right.
but there's no pressure, so you can kind of like
Take your time.
think about it,
Right.
explore the world. There's a few Easter eggs here and there that you can see, and it's very low stress. It's actually fairly fun.
Okay.
And good for good for anyone, I guess. The experienced gamer, maybe not if you're into the fast-paced stuff, but also someone getting into gaming, would find this very enjoyable, I
Okay.
think. That's one other thing I wanted to say. I don't remember. It's kind of like Portal. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
And like it's a new concept. It's not like
Right. Okay.
any FPS that you would pick up or any puzzle game where you navigate a maze type thing.
Right.
It's a unique thing,
Okay.
and it's I think it's very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we like to try and price the game for like if we should pick it up or not. What would you price this at as a definite pickup?
$5,
Yeah.
maybe not more, because I don't think it's a very long game. I haven't beaten it yet, but
Feels pretty short.
feels pretty short.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's not a whole lot to it. Like you're just running around collecting squares. So
Okay.
$5, maybe a little more, but I do recommend playing it. It's very relaxing, very fun.
Awesome.
Short but sweet.
Good.
So I challenge you to play Battle Block Theater
Yes.
without remembering that you had already watched a Let's Play or whatever it is.
Yeah. So first I'll start off that it's a fantastic platformer puzzler. A lot of fun. General story is that you're friends with someone named Patty, and he's kind of like the leader of your people. And he decides to take everybody on like a sailing like trip on a big ship, and they're sailing around the oceans, and they're having fun. And all of a sudden, they run into a storm, and then there's a storm that's like a relentless storm. So they think like the storm's over, everyone survived, yay! But it comes back and like wreaks havoc, and then so they shipwreck onto a mysterious island, and on this island is nothing but cats and a very, very large theater. And so what happens is after the shipwreck happens, Hattie gets kidnapped, and he's given the evil hat, which controls his mind, so he's not able to be himself anymore. And then basically the hat replaces the original person who created the theater. He had the hat, and then he got so enthralled by the events that were happening within the theater that he never left his seat.
Okay.
He'd sit there for days watching performances nonstop, stuffing his face with popcorn and having a dire accident that kills him. And I'll probably put that in the YouTube video of the footage of what happens. It's
Okay.
It's both gross and funny.
Nice.
And so your job is to get into the theater and then try and make your way through all the different stage doors to the top of the theater and rescue Hattie.
Okay.
So yeah, as we mentioned last episode, and you just mentioned, I did watch Uber Hexer Nova and Immortal HD play this through cooperatively. So I got to watch the game played through with two people playing it. So I knew kind of what the levels were like and that kind of thing. But even that being said, being able to actually play it yourself is even more fun. Like watching them play was fun, but being able to actually be the person controlling and finding out how the mechanics work and everything was a lot of fun. So I really, really enjoyed it. And you know, even when you get to certain parts where like you're trying to figure out how to get past this one like obstacle, and you might die like 10 times, even though you're dying so many times, you don't really get frustrated. Like the game just doesn't really allow you to get frustrated. It's just they make everything so like cute and funny, I guess. Like it just, you can't get mad at it.
Okay.
It's funny. So like every time I was dying and playing through, it's like it didn't matter. Like, I was just like, okay, just keep on trying. Like very easy to grind the problem into a solution. So
Okay.
I thought that was really cool. And then the cutscenes are by far the best thing of the whole game. So going in between like the introduction story about like what happened, like the way this guy narrates it, and it's like a diorama, you know, like back in like junior high, like a shoebox diorama. So everything's like on like popsicle sticks and like cutouts and stuff. So this is how like all the cutscenes play out. Is like
Nice.
so like he's just like saying it, and like when he's getting like kind of like excited about what he's saying, like the popsicle stick figurines kind of like just start shaking around like crazy, and it's really goofy, really funny. Like I had a smile on my face every single time a cutscene came up. So you like have 3, 6, 9 stage doors, and then you have like what's like a time trial. So you have to beat the stage within a time limit. The other ones you can take as long as you want, but obviously if you beat them within a certain time, you get an extra like point.
Right.
Saying like you got like the stamp for like time because you did it in so quick of a time. But basically the time session door, it's like a big cat door, and that's basically the end of that level or the floor, but there's still 3 more stage doors, but they just shoot you onto the next floor. I think those 3 extra ones are like ones like after you beat the game you go back, and like those are like the extra hard, like
Right.
here's the concepts from this floor but like cranked up times 10.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, so haven't beat it yet, but definitely will be beating this one for sure. I sank, I think, a solid 4-hour session into it, nonstop, just playing. So,
Wow.
yeah. So I think
Very
I'm
nice. Yeah.
getting pretty close. I think there's maybe only another hour or 2 left, and then I should be done.
It's like a 5-hour game type thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But yeah, very awesome. If you like platformers with a little bit of puzzle mechanic to it, like Super Meat Boy or other games like that, but not as brutal. That's the thing too.
Super
Like
Meat Boy is pretty brutal.
yeah, so like when you die in this game, there's like little check mark flags, kind of like in Mario. You get halfway through the level, you go through like the tape or whatever in Super Mario World. They have that, but in much more shorter periods. There's multiple like flag points. So if you die, you go back to that last flag you rose.
Which I'm sure contributes to not getting frustrated when you die.
Yeah,
you don't have to go as
sometimes,
far
but then like if you go to a different area because you're trying to find all the gems in Yarn Ball. There's always
Right.
one Yarn Ball in every like stage, and there's a bunch of gems, and those you use to either buy new faces and stuff, or the Yarn Balls is to buy new weapons. So if you don't search them out, then you don't get the stamp on your like end sheet, and then
Right.
you can't use that to buy anything because you don't have it, right?
Right.
So there's one level where I got the checkpoint by the exit, but I realized I still had like another 2 gems and a yarn to find. So I found out where I had to go, but I was like on the opposite end of the stage. So then when I died, I had to go all the way back there and then try and go all the way back over there again. So that
like a reverse
kind
checkpoint
of
almost.
it kind of screwed me up a little bit, but yeah, definitely fun. I definitely recommend picking it up. I'd even say $10-15
Wow,
this game's
really?
worth. Yeah,
Might have to give
very
it a try
well
then.
done. So,
Even for a 5-hour game.
oh yeah, just the entertainment value is through the roof on this game.
Okay.
I had a lot more fun playing this than I did playing Castle Crushers. So, and Castle Crushers is also another really awesome game by the same company.
Okay. I
But-
didn't know it's the same. I think you told me it's the same company.
Yeah, the Behemoth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our reviews, and we'll go into our challenges.
Feels like
So-
this is a short episode,
Yeah,
which is fine.
might be a bit shorter. I'm going to challenge you to Mark of the Ninja. So I know nothing about this game,
Neither do I.
but I did notice it that you had it on your list, and I looked at the preview video for it on the store page, and it has a pretty cool art style to it. It's a side scroller,
Okay.
kind of hack and slash kind of game, but you're a ninja. So it looked really interesting to me. I thought it'd be really fun to see you play through it and
Sure.
be able
I
to see what it looks like.
didn't know I owned it. Is it like Castle Crashers style or?
I guess so, sort of, but a little bit more like you can sneak up behind people and like do these like they
Okay.
go into like epic like
Nice.
cutscene like death
Okay.
stuff like
Sweet.
yeah. So it looks like a lot of fun.
Sweet. Sounds good. And my game for you, which I guess you already saw, is BioShock Infinite. So I know last episode you said which game felt like BioShock, maybe 2 episodes ago.
I was saying the Dishonored game that we were
Right,
challenged to
that's
by
right.
Duriel.
Felt like Dishonored.
Yeah, it felt like Dishonored or it
Felt like BioShock.
BioShock meets I can't remember another game now. But yeah, I was mentioning that it felt like BioShock. Yeah, for sure.
So I know you played number 1.
Yeah, so I played the first one all the way through, and then I went halfway through again on the second playthrough. And then I played number 2 a little bit, but not a whole lot.
And I'm very much same story. I played number 1 the whole way through. Number 2 a little bit, didn't float my boat.
No.
And so I was about BioShock Infinite because like when I saw the trailer for it, I just didn't want it to be like number 2.
Yeah.
When I saw the trailer, like it felt like I didn't know what was going on, but like everyone else was like all excited and seemed to know what they knew what was going on.
Right.
I'm like, but this trailer makes no sense. Like, it just seemed very weird, but it was captivating. Like,
Yeah.
probably like, one of the most captivating game trailers I've seen. I don't know why, but convinced me to pay full price for it.
Yeah.
And
I think I ended up paying full price as well for it, so it's definitely a game I should probably play, and I get to play it, so
Yeah.
Awesome.
it's much better than 2. I think you'll like it. But
Cool.
you haven't liked a lot of the other games I've liked, so maybe not.
Okay, well that'll do it for our challenges. Mailbag. Nothing this episode, but
I don't think so.
again, if you guys want to email us, brewsandgames@gmail.com, tweet us at brewsandgames. I'm at J Evans,
And I'm at Alpha Drake.
and if you like this video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. Subscribe. Keep up with when our episodes come out.
That's right.
That'll do it.
And maybe stay a little later for something after the show.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, and welcome to the episode 11 after show. We've got the Rogue Sriracha beer to try out that Joe got. I guess you've tried a sample of this already.
Yeah, so Willow Park, there's, if you're from Calgary, you might know Dave the Beer Guy. Every time I go to Willow Park, I make a point to try and talk to him. And I knew that this Sriracha beer was coming out for a few months now. So I've been hounding him for a while, being like, so, when are you guys getting it? Is it in yet? Is it in yet? And so it finally came in. I picked it up last week on Friday, I believe. So exactly a week ago as we're recording this. And they had a little sampling station set up so you could try a bunch of different Rogue beers. And this was one of them. So I've had a little sample, but it was like not even like half an ounce. It was a really small amount. So
was it spicy?
it was true to the Sriracha, I'd say.
Because I don't find Sriracha really too spicy.
Okay.
Like, I'm not someone who goes for the hottest thing.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy spicy foods. And I like the taste of Sriracha. But
Sriracha has a fantastic taste.
But the spiciness is to me.
So as with most Rogue beers, they go for the flavor, and they really capture the flavor, I think, of the Sriracha here.
They capture the bottle too, like you said. The back of it is.
Yeah, it looks just like an actual Sriracha bottle. It's got a little green cap for the top. It's an awesome bottle. It's fantastic. So
nice. We have had a Rogue beer on the show before.
Yeah, we had the Beard beer,
which was interesting. Brewed with the yeast of
some guy's beard.
The beard of the brewmaster.
Yeah, the main brewmaster. Yeah, they grew yeast in his beard every year. It's very, very weird.
It is weird. It's tough to get over.
Yeah, it's still a good beer though, all things considered.
It is
different but good. So let's see if this one's different but good.
Well, it won gold in the 2015 World
Beer Championships.
It's only March, but I guess they've had the 2015 World Beer Championships already. Sorry, any beer that comes out in May,
gold's already
June,
taken.
July. Yeah. Let's get into it then.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little sample first. And give our little review of what we think, tasting note wise, and then we're gonna challenge ourselves to chug it and see if that spiciness builds up. So I feel like with Sriracha, if you have like a little bit, it's like, oh, it's pretty spicy, it's not too bad, it's really flavorful. But then like, if you have a bunch of Sriracha, like it builds up.
It does. Yep.
So we'll see if that holds true for the beer.
It's quite dark. I don't know what I was expecting. To be honest, I was expecting like Sriracha colored beer.
Red?
I don't know why, but
you know what? I think I was too when I first sampled it at the Willow Park.
It smells like beer in Sriracha.
Yeah. Much more of a stout smell than it does the Sriracha, I'd say.
That's what I was going to say as well. It also looks like a stout. And I was going to ask what kind of beer it's mixed with, and lo and behold, Rogue Sriracha Hot Stout Beer.
Yep. So this will go nice with the Kona Stout you had earlier. You're not deviating from your type of beer. You're going from a stout to a stout.
That's true. And
so you had your morning coffee, and now you're having your afternoon spicy, I guess.
Spicy drink, whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny because Tyson, this week, our first guest on the show, had some Sriracha and offered to put it in my coffee at work.
It's quite the coincidence.
Yeah. It's 5.7% and it's like $15, so it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I hope this is worth it. But cheers.
Cheers.
I taste the spice.
Yeah.
Just the one or two sips is not too spicy, but you can taste it. I don't know if I would have paired this with a stout.
What would you rather put the Sriracha in?
Something more mellow. Like I'm tasting more stout than Sriracha.
Okay. So would you go for something that's still dark like a stout? Like, would you go for a porter, or would you try and go somewhere
I probably
like
would have gone for like some kind of lager or something.
a lager or a Kolsch or something? Maybe like a sweeter kind of lighter beer.
Just something with as little of taste as possible.
So Brava.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Brava or apparently Canadian.
A throwback to episode 11, the ABC challenge.
The after show.
The after show. Yeah.
After show, episode 10, not 11.
Yes.
This is episode
Sorry,
11.
episode 10. Yes.
I think this is more of a novelty rather than something I would get again.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. Is like, so we're gonna do this challenge, and initially you were saying let's do a bottle each, but I don't think this is the kind of beer you want to chug an entire bottle of.
And not because it's spicy, just because
It's a fun beer, but it's not a beer that's particularly very enjoyable.
no. And
something
I
you
love
come
spicy
back to.
things. And this, yeah.
Yeah.
So $15 for a bottle. This is something you could buy a bottle and then take to a party because everyone, of course, wants to try it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's that? And you can have everyone take a sip.
Yeah.
And not feel too bad about everyone taking your beer.
And if you're into collecting bottles and displaying them,
It's a pretty cool bottle.
I mean, you can't get much cooler than that. As Monique rolls her eyes.
Some of the Phillips beers, I think, actually look really cool. I think they look nice as a collection.
The labels, yeah, they have some really cool ones. So we're actually doing this. We're gonna chug it.
Why not? Let's make this entertaining for people. I don't actually think it'll be too spicy, to be honest. We'll see. The head is deceiving. Alright, so I'm not going to race you because drinking things fast, no matter what they are, is not my forte. Andrew from Grand Prairie, Como, can attest to that.
So the point is just to keep drinking it until it's empty,
Yes.
whether it takes us a while or not.
Yes.
So no coming up for air, just
Correct.
Okay.
Cheers.
cheers. I'd almost say it was more enjoyable having
so.
like a constant stream of the stout.
I think so. Maybe you don't want to share this.
Oh,
Not super spicy still.
no.
The hope was that'd be super spicy and then our reaction would be entertaining, but no, it's about the same heat as a sip, to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't build at all. It stays constant.
Well, that was the Rogue Sriracha Hot Stout.
The episode 11 after show. I'm Adam Eliason.
I'm Joe Evans.
See you guys next time.
See ya.